1. Peeps, what is the beef? Episode 22. Old school chefs are dying. Not literally. Old school chef mentality, though, is that of a dying breed. And it's funny. The light shines in my face and makes me turn into a fucking angel. As soon as
And the light just came out just right now, this second.
angelic, man. Angelic. Probably something. That's it, man. Peter was actually showing me the interior of his nostrils. The old
That's what it was. That shine is coming from my brain.
Yeah, exactly, man. I could see. That's good. That's the ad. The truth is in there. The truth shall be found. Anyway, lad, we're looking for the truth today. So before we dive in, Peter, any crack? Any crack?
All good in the hood, Cam. Fresh off the highlands of Wicklow with Limo the other day.
Beast.
You want to see him? It was unreal.
What did you end up? You just fucking got on the bikes and you just fucking went out in the mountains, did you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've done the route a couple of times myself, but if I go from my house to where we dropped off, where we left the car, that's 15k. So Limo came and picked me up, and then we drove off to that space, parked the cars, and then went on the cycle, right? And then when we went out there, we got onto the roads that I normally do, where we go up into Blessington, into the town, and then we head off. There's 2 turns. The first turn is called Death, because that's where Sadie's Gap is. I wasn't going to go there in the first ride. And then the second one is a lap around the lakes. You do a figure 8 around the lakes with 2 bridges, right? You know the 2 bridges going over in Blessington?
Yeah.
We got to them, and there's one way you can go, where you come back over the same bridge, and it's nice and flat, but it's long. And then there's another one that's a lot shorter, but it's steeper. And we did like 2,000 feet of climbing over the space of, Limo did 60k, I did 70k.
Man.
If I had a cycle out there and back, that's my normal 100k that I would do, you know. Limo never done over 10k in his bike. It was like, oh man, I don't know if I'd be able for that. That'd be, you know, I might be able to do 20 and see how it goes and all that. He left me for dirt every bleeding time we hit a climb.
Absolute machine. Liam's one of the guys who came into the original.
I was gonna ask him to piss in a cup. That's what I was gonna do.
Yeah, he's on the gym. No, Limo was one of the guys. He was actually one of the first chefs I ever spoke to about coming into the group, and he came in, for anyone listening, he came into the group with Peter, and was very unsure of himself starting out. And I know we spoke about him before, but he probably doesn't get enough praise. Like, Liam didn't know wasn't sure of his own name when I first spoke to him. And I mean that genuinely. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was very, very timid. He was very unsure of himself. He was very burnt out. He was fucked, you know, and he wasn't in a good place. And he'd never stepped foot in a gym before, and he'd never really taken his health in any way, shape, or form seriously. And to see, he just, from day one, he just fucking went for it. Even when I got him on the phone, when I spoke to him on the phone, he was very, very hesitant. He was very unsure. He didn't trust me. He didn't trust what the fuck, you know. But I think he had a thought process after we spoke, and then he's like, nah, fuck it, I'm going to do this. And he just went for it 110%. Now, I've talked to him a lot in the initial stages, and he fucking smashed it. And he's really, really, really transformed beyond.
He's literally the single most consistent person that has ever been in Sheffield.
Yeah, easily. Like, it's ridiculous. I just
swear to God, you could set your watch by him putting up all his pictures at 10:30, knowing exactly what he's going to do. I could even tell you what his pictures could be tonight, and they will be up there every single day at the exact same time. Never misses a beat.
The thing that really, I suppose this actually ties into old school chefs, because I think Liam had an old school chef mentality, you know?
Fucking right, he did.
Where he's like, I'm fucking, you know, everything's negative. You know, you're supposed to be fucking eating shite and treating yourself like shite, and you're not supposed to think much of yourself. You know what I mean? You don't want to say too much. Like, Liam was very much of that mentality. And I put up a post in the elite group there earlier on. We have this chef's path where it's like you can progress on the chef's path. I'll give you lifting goals. Let's say you have to squat X amount of your body weight for 5 reps. You have to be able to do 5 to 10 chin-ups. You need to be able to fucking deadlift this. You need to be able to, you know what I mean, bench press that. You need to be able to run a 5K in under this amount of time. and he was the first guy to reach level 4, and I put that up today. And it was just one of those moments for me where it was quite special, because it's like, fuck me, man. Like, that shows if that guy's,
Turnaround.
you know what I mean? If that guy's able to come in the state that he was in, with the mindset that he fucking had, and all he did was listen. All he did was fucking listen and put his fucking head down, and not in a talk a fucking big game, talk that you want to change, say you want to change, but when it actually comes time to double down and do the fucking work, you're nowhere to be found. No, Liam showed up through thick and fucking thin. He fucking he kept himself accountable every step of the way. He was 110% honest with everything he did, and that's the result that you get. And he's fucking stronger and fitter than a lot of the guys in that group who are fucking, you know what I mean, who have experience in the gym, who have experience in trying diets and trying. Liam hadn't tried anything, man. He couldn't do he didn't know what a push-up was when he started, you know? So
now he's ripped. You know what, Cam? When I was working back in the service industry, like in the trade days, it was more chefs than not. Way more than that. It was like 70 to 80% of chefs, the last thing they thought about was themselves, or how to look after themselves, right? Like that. And that was kind of the macho part of it. That was the hashtag chef fit life, because I have to do these 70 hours, because it's almost like a competition with each other. Who can do the most hours? Who would have the shittiest job?
Yeah.
You ever notice that with chefs? They have a shit job off.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And my manager's a prick. You think your manager's a prick when you hear this? Oh yeah, well, the staff boy working there, I was shy. I think that's bad. You want to see the goons I fucking work with, and it's a badge of honor for them. The job is
sick, and I worked fucking 18 hours, and I fucking had to stab 3 people and climb a mountain to get into work. It's like, what? You know?
Guess what? You didn't have to.
You didn't have to, for one. Yeah, you didn't have to.
Yeah.
Let's not mention any names. Fucking, I think it's a really, really good topic. Like, Peter was talking about this the other day. And well, I'll let you kind of take the reins on this, Peter, but like, really what we want to dive into and talking about Liam and all of that is that this old school chef mentality is dying. You know what I mean? It's a dying breed. And that mentality of fucking destroying yourself and thinking that's fine, and, you know, thinking you're immune to what the rest of the world potentially is moving with, you know, but chefs don't need to move with the times, all of that shit. So like, Peter, I'll kind of let you take the reins on this a small bit. And
I was just kind of thinking that the chefs needed to jump ship with the whole hashtag chef fit life. The chef life, sorry, not chef fit life. They had to jump ship for hashtag chef life. And the reason why that popped into my head is because obviously I'm more, I notice a lot more now, people going to the gym and people working out, because I've been living this life now myself for 10 months, right? Mm-hmm. So it has taken over a lot of my time as a hobby also. Like it is a way of life. It is a full-on chef's path. So I'm noticing I'm in tune with it a lot more. And then the place where I'm working at now has a gym inside. And you notice that when I started there, say a year ago, there was maybe 10 people who would go every day. Now there's like 30 or 40 people that will go every day. It's not just the lifters. It's not just the fit people. It's not just the young people. It's everybody. And then when that was in my head, I noticed that I went to the gym and I noticed it was the same kind of thing. It wasn't that from now on in the gym, it's just the lifters. It's just the fit people. It's just the regulars. And then I was thinking that of all the people that I know now that are regular people that are working out and looking after themselves through traffic, showed me how rare it was to know a chef like that when I was working in hotels and restaurants.
Yeah.
Now there's one head chef friend of mine who was a triathlete, and you've got to be a triathlete, but he's as fit as a fiddle, and he's the golden unicorn of all the chefs that I grew up with. Yeah. And the reason why I was confounded when I stayed. I'm like, the whole rest of the world is getting up with this fitness trend. It's not really a trend anymore. It's a way of life, and everybody is moving forward.
It's undeniable.
Except for undeniable everywhere. You know, even if you look at the example I used when I was trying to explain this to chef at work today, was avocados and kale. Shows how much the world is moving forward when it comes to health and fitness. You know, that's because of people that are living a better life, that avocados and kale are now 2 of the biggest sellers going. And chefs aren't touching it. They're working with it all right, but the chefs aren't living that life.
Yeah.
Because when the chefs that I know that are still in the restaurants, they're still the exact same as they were when I was there.
Yeah.
And, you know, the ship is sailing as far as my age group for people that I was working with. And it is quite alarming to see that the people that have most access to food are eating the worst.
Yeah, totally.
And the people that are working are off when the gyms are empty are working out less.
That's a great point. You know what I mean? And we've also got to you got to touch on that, like, why is it a fitness craze? Like, obviously, I'm not talking about Insta famous wankers. I'm not talking about, like, obviously.
I tried my best not to even mention Instagram when I was talking about it, because I don't mean fake shit. I mean people. I mean my dad, 62 years old, never moved a muscle in his whole entire life until I dragged him to a park run a year and a half ago. Now he does 22,000 steps a day, hasn't drove to work in a year and a half, and has lost 4 stone. He's 62.
Big time. There you go.
That's what I mean. These type of people. I'm not saying, I don't mean old people. I don't mean outfielders from gymnast. I don't mean library porters. I just mean normal people.
Big time. And you've also got to look at why. I suppose this is all coincides with mental health is such a fucking topic these days. Do you know what I mean? It is. It's a hot topic. And I think people are far more aware of their mental state than they were in years gone by. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, you're a bit older than me, Peter, and I suppose our dads would be the exact same age. And like, you know, that early to mid 60s. And it's just, it was that mentality of, fucking, you know what I mean? They can't see the benefit. You can't see the correlation. Whereas I think so many people nowadays realize that exercising regularly is like probably the most powerful antidepressant there is. And not only is it a powerful antidepressant, but it's a fucking key to happiness. Like, it really is. It really fucking is. Like, I'm happier now than I've ever been. And it's because I'm frequently doing something with my body. I'm frequently getting an outlet that I didn't really have, when I was in the service industry, I underutilized, and I made excuses for it at the time, you know, and it's only really when I stepped back and I had to fucking assess how much I neglected it, because I made those excuses, you know, but I didn't see the importance of it at the time. And I didn't identify, maybe I was so unhappy because I was making time for shit that was killing me, i.e. fucking, you know, booze, drugs, fucking shit food, meals out. Like, those are the things that I prioritized in my life. And the things I didn't prioritize were, you know, getting my gym sessions in. You know, I wouldn't have a problem with just going and training twice in a week. And that was someone who's been an athlete their whole life. And I didn't have a problem with doing that. And then I wonder why my mental health was fucking all over the place. And what I realize now is, like, I'm doing jiu-jitsu fucking 3 times a week. I'm lifting in the gym 4 times a week. This morning I woke up and did a 5K at fucking 7:45 in the morning, you know, and it's like, I'm more frequent in what I'm doing, and my mental state is far better. I'm far happier and far more grateful. My days turn out a lot better than they used to, you know, and I feel like I'm making better use of my time. And that's what a lot of people are catching on to. And I feel chefs are being, and as Peter's saying, they're getting left in the fucking dust. They're getting left.
They're getting worse.
Yeah. It's almost like rebellion. You know, fucking don't need that. Like, I can fucking literally show you here. I don't have the time.
So
not even, man. Not even. Check this out. It's like, so one of my ads on Facebook is running, right? And obviously I get, like, every chef in fucking Ireland and UK will see those ads, run to join Chef Fit. And I get comments on the videos all the time. Sometimes they're good comments. Sometimes it's chefs tagging other chefs saying, Jesus, have a look at this. Sometimes it's absolute fucking dickheads who have nothing good to say, so they'll leave something negative. But also there's some really old school chefs that'll say shit. Some lad goes, nah, I'm okay. I'll stick with the cocaine and cigarettes to get me through. Like, that was literally his comment. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I actually liked it because I thought it was quite funny.
Yeah, he's doing the badge of honor. He's doing the hashtag chef life. What you have for breakfast? I was cigarette and a coffee. Like, you're the man. Like,
yeah. But where does that lead you? You know what I mean? Where are you going with that? That's the other fucking thing. You know, where are you going with that? Because you're It's a recipe for an early death. It's a recipe for, really, it's a miserable life. Like, that's why a lot of chefs get into that mentality. Like, they get into this really negative mindset where they're very spiteful of things, and you know, like, you say something to them and they fucking shoot it down, and it's just negative. It's a negative perspective. But that kind of that's like a protective mechanism for the life. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're so numb to fucking your own unhappiness that, like, you'll just shoot shit down and you'll be negative. And it's like, man, you can't keep operating like that. You can't keep operating like that. Like, the suicide rates among chefs is too fucking high. The attrition rate of chefs is too high. Obviously, I'm not saying it's all down to lifestyle. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's a degree of it where I feel, you know, potentially there's people who shouldn't, you know, are getting paid what they shouldn't be getting paid, whether that's you're unqualified and you're fucking trying to look for a sous chef fucking salary when you're not really at that quality, whatever it is. And the opposite is true, where guys who are plenty of experience, highly skilled, aren't getting paid what they're worth. That could account to the attrition rate, but I feel a lot of the time that chefs need to fucking, you know what I mean? If you were taking better care of yourself, you'd have more longevity in your career. You'd have more longevity in your career, you know?
Your whole life. You have longevity in your life. You have longevity in your relationships.
Yeah, big time. And what also pisses me off is that attitude. Like, if you have that attitude of cocaine and fucking booze will do me, that's fine. I guarantee you've got a fucking disappointed wife at home, or a fucking boyfriend or whatever. And I'd say you've got a handful of kids who you fucking can't be bothered playing with on your days off. You know what I mean? That's a fucking fact. You know,
that's not even a dig.
That's not a dig. That's a fact. You know.
Yeah, we'd had chefs coming into us right there at that stage, going, right, shit, you know where I am?
Yeah, big time. It's not a fucking dig. It's a fact. And if you take that personally, I say fuck you, because you're being a selfish cunt. Why don't you think of them instead of thinking of your own fucking insecurities for once, you fucking gay bag?
Very true. Very fucking true.
But it's like, that's another thing that fucking pisses me off. Not pisses me off. Well, it does piss me off, yeah. You know, when I put this message out, and it's like, a lot of the things I will say will trigger chefs, because I'm fucking literally painting your life for you. And I'm telling you why you're failing. I'm telling you why it's a fucking problem. If you continue down this path of not taking care of yourself, having low energy, having low self-esteem, what awaits you is a fucking broken family, a broken relationship, and a lot of regret, and probably an early grave. It's like, if that makes you insecure, chances are that's because it's you, and chances are it's true. It's like, I'm not fucking, you could call me a dick, you could call me whatever you want, but if it's triggering something in you, chances are you're the problem, you know? And the problem here, a lot of the times, is the mentality. It's the mentality. I don't need that. Fuck that, you know? And I think the world is changing. You know, the world is changing. It was like social media fucking 10 years ago. You know what I mean? I remember saying to my parents, oh, using Facebook, what are you using that shite for? And oh, never fucking get on that, and whatever else. Fucking fast forward 10 years, mum's never off Facebook. Fucking hell, never off Facebook. You know what I mean? Whereas if we've kind of moved past it, but like, it's the reason I'm saying it's not because Facebook's so fucking great. In fact, I don't particularly like it. But the point is, you can't run away from a fucking ocean wave that's eventually gonna crash over you at some point. You know,
100%.
Fucking do it sooner rather than later, pal. Jesus Christ.
Jump ship before the ship sinks.
Yeah, big time, big time.
So I wasn't far off myself, man. Swear to God. When I was at the end of my tenure in the restaurants.
Yeah. What do you mean?
I
of what? That mentality?
Yeah, no. Well, here, every chef has had that mentality at some stage. You know what I mean?
Big time.
Especially at the younger age. And then you get wise. And then for a while, you don't think in that mentality, but you're attuned to it, because you are literally in that life, and all the people around you are in that life as well.
Okay.
So you step out of it and you go, fucking hell, that wasn't good for me now, you know. A lot of people don't step out of it. A lot of people stay there. And then there's one guy very, very close to me right now, and he's approaching 50. He's approaching 50. He's in an awful place mentally. He's in a good place physically, but he hasn't got the balance right. He's a runner and a cyclist, but he still works in the poxy 5-star restaurants. He still works in Michelin star restaurants, and he still bounces, say, 2-3 jobs a year, gets stressed out of his face, and is an absolute demon in the kitchen. I could never work with him again. Now, he'll be a best mate of mine for life. I could never work with him again. I worked with him once as a favour, and I saw how he treated other people, and I was like, that's not even you. And he's like, that's just when I'm in work. I can't handle these fucking muppets. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like that when I get out. Stepped outside work, and he's a completely different person.
So that's the point that we haven't gone into yet. So, like, what's the impact? Do you think this old school mentality then?
He's so balls deep in it that he actually is a different person. So it's like a switch is hit when he walks into work. Okay, I'm in here now. This means I have to be a fucking arsehole. I have to be super stressed and not look after myself and abuse the people around me.
Yeah.
But then he can turn it off when he steps outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mad.
Big time. And let's say in his example, what do you reckon the difference would be if he lost fucking, a couple of kilos, stopped fucking abusing his body and started treating himself properly? You know what I mean? And he got himself to he had it.
Yeah, and spend some time with his 4-year-old daughter who thinks he's a stranger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the big part of it. And it has a mental breakdown every 4 or 5 months and fucks off back to the county that he's from. I don't want to give away too much, of course. And has a mental breakdown twice a year, 3 times a year, and then comes back, well, I'm never doing that again. Oh, but I got this job offer, but it's going to be different this time. Second, they step inside that kitchen, fucking, it's the chef life, it's the mentality of it. You have to do it to succeed, but guess what? You're not actually succeeding in anything. You're not getting anywhere with that.
Yeah, big time. My brother always said this to me as well. He always made a good point. And when I was talking to him and when I started chefing, he's like, chefing is a very weird thing. He's like, we've talked about him before, he's got his own place now and things are going very well for him. But I know there was a couple of years where it's just the trenches and it's just chaos and what was going on. But he had made a good point. He's like, I don't really understand why you would stay working as a chef. Like there's 3 options. It's like you either find a situation where it works for you hours wise and you have some semblance of balance in your life. You know what I mean? Which is what you've done. Where you fucking have to make a bet. You have to make a big call and go, okay, right. Well, like I'm not fucking killing myself for someone else for all of that time. I need to fucking make a good decision for myself here. The second option is you try and like really push and drive yourself to the highest level possible. And you basically look to open your own spot or whatever, if that's the way you want to incline, which is a fucking high road, which is a very small chance that you're going to come out the other side.
And we have talked about making the grass greener where you are. Yeah,
exactly. And then the last option is this kind of fucking gray area where you're kind of breaking your bollocks for someone else. You're probably not making a fucking lot of money doing it. Your stress is through the fucking roof. And it's like, that's where a lot of chefs are. And his point was like, if you're in that gray area, like, fucking, what are you doing? Like, and it's not that that's avoidable. There's nothing wrong with working as a chef for someone else. But what we're saying here is if you're in that position, you're on a fucking hiding to nothing unless you do something. Like
that grey area that you're talking about now, that's where a mutual friend of ours is at the moment, where they picked a job because of the name place. It had nothing to do with the hours or the money or anything like that. Went in, 2 weeks later, gone. Same shit. Yeah. Same shit as the last place, but this place has a great reputation for food. I can't see where that gets you.
Yeah. Game over. Dead in the water. That's it.
Yeah. Same shit. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're in that position, like, you either find something that fucking works or you sort yourself out, But like this whole mentality of it's fine, like, it's not just you're impacting anymore, pal. It's not just you. And you really have to get fucking real with it, You really do. And if that's a wake-up call, happy days. If one fucking chef listens to this that is of that mentality and it's a wake-up call for them, fucking happy days. Great.
Yeah, then you've done your job.
And if it pisses
If you
off,
get one chef out of that.
yeah, and if it pisses off a lot of you, fuck you, because it's probably you. You're probably the problem, you know. So anyway, that mentality, get yourself sorted, get on fucking, join a gym, or fucking, if you don't want to go to a gym, start going for a walk. Once you can walk comfortably every single day for 30 to 40 minutes, then start going for a slow jog. Start by running fucking 1K, then 1.5, then 2, then 2.5, you know, then build up the amount of days that you're doing. Start small and just build, and just show the fuck up consistently over and over and over again until things improve. And when things improve, you'll actually get to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But right now you're trapped and you can't see the fucking light. So wake up and smell the fucking flowers, chefs. That's the facts being thrown at you. Right. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Also, leave a comment if you can. Show some support, or if you thought it was shit, whatever. Podbean, iTunes, subscribe, create a profile, stream it, download it, fucking boil and mash them, stick them in a stew. 5-star review on iTunes.
We're everywhere.
Yeah, anything that you're listening or watching this on, share it and like it, and fucking do whatever you can to support the movement, because that's what it is. And
Look after each other.
exactly. That has been episode 22, chefs. I'll catch you on the next episode. Me and POBG are out of here.
Yup.
Peace.